everything. and just like that.
Perfect. Yep. Well, welcome back. It's Tuesday.
We're live.
So we're live. It's a Tuesday. So you know what that means. We're going to talk another tactic. Kyle, how you doing today?
Good, McKenna. How goes it? You just gave a big presentation today, and now you're back on Tuesday Tactics. So congrats on a lot of Zoom and computer time today.
That's just the theme of the year. It's just Zoom time.
Zoom. That is the theme of 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. Tired of talking. I'm going to let you do most of the talking today.
Okay, sounds good. That's a deal.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, today we're going to talk about lead ads, specifically using Zapier, and kind of what happens when a lead ad comes in from Facebook and how to process that. So by the end of this, we're hoping that you'll learn how to send an automated email to people that sign up through a Facebook ad.
Yeah. Thanks, McKenna. And yeah, well put. So that's really the goal today, is to dive into the tool Zapier, which I think it costs us something like $30 to $60 a month, depending on how many accounts you have. But if you're a small business, I think you can run a good amount of automations for free. So the barrier to entry is really low. Zapier is really a tool that's built for marketers and for business owners that don't have a ton of technical experience in, connecting APIs or building, webhooks between softwares. If those things don't make sense to you, that's okay. Zapier makes it really easy. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Let me select a screen to share. This one looks good. Can you see Zapier, McKenna?
I sure can.
Perfect. So this is what the dashboard looks like as you log in. I've selected create a new Zap, and I'm just going to name this Zap, Tuesday Tactic. Ordinarily, I'd probably want to name this Zap, Facebook lead for insert business here. So whatever business you're running Facebook lead ads for. Real quick, Facebook lead ads. What Facebook lead ads allow you to do is to set up a Facebook ad, show it to a very specific or very broad audience, whichever one you'd like to choose. So let's use an example of a sporting goods store. So a sporting goods store is hosting a big outdoor event, global pandemic, an outdoor event, outdoor sale, and you want to sign up to receive a special VIP coupon. So the sporting goods store doesn't want to show that coupon right on the Facebook ad, because then that would mean that people can just kind of write it down or remember it and go into the store and say, hey, I found this coupon, purchase something with cash, and then that store never has that customer information. What Facebook leads allow you to do is say, in order to get this coupon, you just have to hit submit. And so you hit submit, or you hit, sign up for this coupon. And a form will drop down. It will say name, phone, email, or maybe just name and email, or maybe name, email, and favorite sport. So it's like soccer, lacrosse, football, whatever. So you fill out that form in the Facebook newsfeed. That's the really neat part about Facebook lead ads, is that it does not take you outside of the Facebook ecosystem to collect information. So it's not a landing page. It's not your website. It's not some pop-up form. It's simply you click learn more on the Facebook ad, either on your mobile device or on your desktop, or on your tablet, I guess, and that ad drops down. Then you hit submit, and the company, in this case, sporting goods store, gets that information. So what Zapier does, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's just a great way to bulk up your email list then and keep in contact with people.
Totally, and it's really neat because you can target, you can be so specific about who you target. You could show lead ads to people who have visited your website but are not on your email list.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You could show advertising to people who have visited your store. If you use that might be a different one. So you could use email. You could use lead ads to custom audiences. So you have a list of people who have purchased, but for whatever reason you don't have their email in your email system. You can show ads to those people. It's really powerful.
Yeah, just a second touch in there to keep you top of mind.
For sure. And you can even show ads to people who have clicked on learn more about or sign up for the coupon, but have not submitted their form. So it's like retargeting.
Wow.
Yeah, it can get pretty cool. So in this case, what Zapier does is then say, well, once they've selected that and submitted their information, what is the next step? What are you going to do with that information? And you can log into Facebook, download an Excel sheet of the people who have submitted, and then upload that into your email list. To me, that's kind of inefficient. If you're a busy business owner, you've got other things to do, you just want that to happen automatically. Well, perhaps your process looks like this. You get an email, you export it, you upload it into your email system, and then each week you email individually each person that has submitted a form. We'll show you how you can not only automatically get those emails into your email system, but you can also automatically send a personalized email to those folks. So using Zapier.
It sounds like it's going to save a lot of time.
It could, yeah, it definitely could.
Yeah.
So with Zapier, it will always say, which platform do you want to use, and there's tons that they just have already built in here. So if I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but let me go back a step. If it lets me, I might have now broken the matrix. McKenna,
the system.
Yeah.
It's going to collapse.
I think it just might. But, Facebook we're using today. Another thing you can do is if they submit, oh shoot, let's see. Create Zap. If they submit, for example, something on your website, you could do the same thing. So they could automatically get uploaded into your email system, and then you can automatically send them an email. You can automatically, let's say, for example, you collect on your form their Instagram handle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I say, hey, on this form, we want to know your name, phone number, and also your Instagram handle. And people might think, like, okay, well, that's funny. You can explain, hey, we follow your Instagram handle because we want to check out the fun things you're posting. Well, as soon as they do that and hit submit, you could then, as that brand, as that sporting goods store, follow them from your account.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense. So like Missoula Sporting Goods, if they ask for your Instagram, as soon as you hit submit, all of a sudden you get a notification like, hey, Missoula Sporting Goods has requested to follow you. Isn't that kind of neat?
Automatically. It's very cool. It sounds like something you kind of set up once and then don't really have to think about it and just let it work for you.
Right.
Which is always great.
Totally. So in this case, the event that is triggering the Zap that we want to set up is a new lead through Facebook lead ads. So I'm gonna hit continue. And then once that event happens, so it's gonna ask me like, who do you want to select here? And I'll just say, Facebook lead ads, Kyle Pucko. That account expired, but we're just going to continue moving along here.
Perfect.
So then we'll ask like, what event? Actually, I'm going to use one that is active. Let's see.
A different Kyle Pucko.
A different Kyle Pucko. So I use a different one for like each. So it will ask you, okay, so customize lead. I'm bringing this in from, I think it's our Geofly page.
Cool.
So we'll scroll down to Geofly. We'll scroll up to Geofly. Let's see.
Just too many pages.
Lots of pages here. There it is. Geofly. And so I've created this form already in Facebook lead ads. And it'll ask you, what form do you want to use? And you can have very different forms. You could say, this is our coupon form. This is our Instagram form that asks for Instagram handles. In this case, it is so we have a lot of forms here also. Let's just call it, we did like a realtor campaign where we want to find realtor information. And we were targeting people in the real estate industry on Facebook. So you can test the trigger, but then the next step, which as promised is going to be, we're going to actually then, as soon as somebody submits an email to us, we are going to send them an email from my Gmail account.
Okay. Personal, very personal.
Yeah, so it comes from Kyle at Geofly, and I'm going to send an email. And then it's going to ask me, what your Geofly account, and it will also ask me things like, how do you want to structure the email? So if you've seen, and I'll show you what that looks like. So here's Kyle at Geofly. And I've already connected these, McKenna, but if you're running through this process, you can simply connect your own accounts.
Okay.
So the two, this is where you just have to sort of look at your lead form and say, okay, on my lead form, I'm asking for email, which you would need to ask for if you want to. And in this case, this might have been an old form, but I could say, email. So I'd have to ask for email in this case.
Yeah, of course.
Email. I could also CC. So if there's somebody, if I wanted you and me to receive this, McKenna, I could say I want to CC McKenna at pintlergroup.com.
Okay, cool. So then all of us will be notified when someone signs up.
So we just get a delightful email like, oh, like it's 2 p.m. and somebody just submitted a lead, and you can go about your day because you know that lead's getting added to MailChimp. You know that lead's getting an email from me, and then you also know that maybe we're shooting them a follow request on Instagram.
Gotcha. But it's good to just get the highlights that someone is kind of interested.
Yeah, it's delightful too for if you're in digital marketing, we always include our clients on these emails if it's for a lead to their business, because it's just nice to know that if they're getting 5 of these emails a day, we like them to ask us to make them stop. Like, hey, can you turn those emails off? Like, we get too many leads. We get too many sales every day. So when they do that, we know we've done our job.
Yeah, that's a good problem.
And then we can say hello, and I don't have first name in this form field, but you could just come down here and click first name, and it would say first name.
Mm-hmm.
This is Kyle. I noticed you're interested, if I could spell today, interested in, and then I could also put in here like favorite, sport.
Right.
Because they fill that out in the form.
Anything you want to put in there.
And it's important because when you're designing your form in Facebook ads, understanding how am I going to use this information in the third step of this customer's journey. Mm-hmm. So if I ask for favorite sport, but I never use it, I probably shouldn't ask for favorite sport.
Right. Why would you?
Yeah. If I ask for something like, what city do you live in? Are you in Missoula? If I'm not going to use that information, if I'm just sort of curious about it, I wouldn't ask it. Keep the number of form fields at a minimum unless you're going to make it really, really personalized. Or maybe is that something that you could ask for on a second customer interaction? So maybe when they show up to your sale and check out, if you teach your team, if you coach your team, like, hey, can you ask every single person that checks out with an item, how they heard about us and what city they're from? Well, by the end of the day, you'll have a ton of data that, I don't think many people are going to, if they're in line checking out with an item and you say, hey, how'd you hear about us? I'm not interested anymore. You just asked me that question.
Right.
I'm not interested anymore. But it could be if you ask too many of those questions too early, then they could say, this isn't worth it to me.
Yeah, you want to make it as easy as possible.
Exactly.
As quick as possible.
Yeah. You can also include attachments to the emails for your folks. And then you can do a bunch more actions. So I can say, okay, I want to add to MailChimp. And for sake of time, I won't kind of go through there, but I could add them to MailChimp. Mm-hmm. I could add them to a HubSpot CRM. So if it's business to business, I could add that user to a business account, which is really cool. There's really just a ton of things you can do. You can add them to, you can send a Slack notification to your team every time something like this happens. You could add a Trello card every time if it's something that you want to follow up with. So it's pretty neat. So that's a quick look at Zapier. Like I said, it can be it's definitely easy to run through, but the first couple times it takes just some time to set up your account. So you have to connect your Gmail, you have to connect your client or your business's MailChimp account. And of course, you have to set up a really targeted Facebook lead ad in this case that gets leads, or else the best Zap in the world is kind of useless unless you have a good ad campaign running behind it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Cool. Yeah,
that was a great
really
look at it. It's pretty impressive that everything's integrated into it and you can do it all in one place pretty easily.
It really is
in
a
Zapier.
lifesaver. Yep. And anytime I found myself doing something manually, like 3 or 4 times, like, is there a Zap for this? Like if I have to take, if I'm cutting and pasting 5 times, like there's got to be a way to do this. or if I have if in Geofly, I'm emailing the same thing to 5 people. I'm like, how can I maybe automate this? So thinking about that in those terms is a good way to. They've made a good job to say, is there a Zap for this? And it just sort of pops up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Always trying to streamline the process. So
that's right. That's
very
right.
Helpful. Awesome. Well, thanks, Kyle.
Yep. I was glad I could give you a little bit of a break today after talking for an hour. I'm
not going to talk for the rest of the day. So.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Cool. Well, we'll see everyone next Tuesday.